Tyler McDiarmid, and I'm the music editor and playback engineer, I guess you could say. I use this console with a couple different computers and play back any pre-recorded music in the show.
Marty Brumbach, I'm music supervisor. Been here 29 years. I started out sitting in Tyler's seat. I was working with Hal Wilner for a lot of years, the late great Hal Wilner, who picked a lot of music and ever present in everything we do. He kind of defined a lot of how we use music in the sketches.
Some of it is more static scoring music where I don't need to be switching back and forth between things, but other cues are sort of one after the other, rapid fire. We can go from having a very slow show to having a show that's has a ton of music in it. Some weeks all of us are firing on all cylinders, editing music, finding music, recording music, recording cast members, and putting stuff together.
And this sketch we're about to do, the recurring character, and it shows some of the different things we do musically on the show. So there's like a cue up top that we've been using for years that's kind of followed this character through different iterations of the show. It goes through to the scene. It starts with live music that's a little bit of, it sounds like scoring at first. It's like source music in the bar. That's actually our live piano player, Tuffus, playing a chart that Eli, our music director, put together. And it transitions into the song, and it goes to another scene of the movie. And so we have some scoring music that I pulled for that. It goes. So that's the opening cue of the show. And then we have a sting. And this is like an authentic 1950s, 40s or 50s score. And then it's a little bit of danger intrigue. And then in order to fit it in, we have a transitional cue. And then it goes to a more hopeful piece of music. And that plays underneath, and then at the end of the film, when the iris comes in, we have a finale piece. So in a typical piece of scoring on a settled piece of movie, someone would just put that in place as sort of the sound score. But we have to keep it all live. So we have to have handles on either side. We have to kind of anticipate where the laughs are going to be and how that's going to work and how long they're going to be in the line and where the camera cuts are going to be, and we're working that out. Hopefully it'll get better and better each time. One of the very real things about our show is that we never have an audio mix. All the things you may have seen so far in the show, all of it is theoretical until the show gets in front of an audience at dress rehearsal, because the audience changes everything about the rhythm of the thing. Now, everyone's really good at their job and we kind of anticipate where they're going to be, but it becomes very different when they're in there and how much they're reacting and the volume of the music. So Tyler will he'll have his hand changing the cues there on the keyboard and another hand on the fader, finding the right level in there.
Are you writing the levels against the dialogue?
Very much, yes. Thank you. Yeah, to a large degree, because the dialogue can be super quiet, it can be louder, there can be, sound effects happening, or, I might play anything from a very, very quiet elevator music to, a really loud sting when somebody gets shot or something. So, I have to be able to regulate that a lot too. When the show's going, I'm kind of stuck here. So Tongue is here to help and jump in when I'm need to run out or whatever, and she's editing a lot of stuff while I'm playing other things, and we all manage to stay pretty busy. It wouldn't work with just one person in here. It's sort of many things that need to get done in here. This console, it's really only 4 or 5 faders that I really use. So this fader is this MIDI keyboard, which is running battery up there. So like for this Domingo sketch, that's running battery. And I'm, writing levels based on dialogue and moving from cue to cue with the pickup for the vocals. The other machine, playback machine we have is the Enco machine, and that has 3 different playlists that I have on 3 separate faders. When there's a cue that's less timing sensitive and maybe it needs to run for the whole sketch or something, I can hit this. So here's some Victorian background music, and I can just let it play. So this one's nice because I don't have to hold a key, and it can play long cues. And also, like, the Weekend Update music lives here. This machine here is just another extension of the Enco machine. It's like another button. Play that there.
The writers pitch sketch ideas on Monday. They mostly write overnight on Tuesdays. On Wednesday mornings, we come in and we have about 40 sketches that we're going to do at a table read on Wednesday afternoon. By the time it gets to table read, we have a good idea of what music is in the sketch or where it's going to be. It's very much a radio play. There's no action. Lauren reads the stage directions. I use Ableton Live, and I just have 40 sketches lined up. And I'm just jamming through it. So we pretty much knew what this was. So once we knew it was picked, we knew what the music was going to be in it. And then we've done little refinements of script changes come in just this morning. The writers are constantly rewriting on Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays. So we have to be reactive to that and know the role that music is playing. Telling the joke is the top one. I mean, it's a comedy show, and that we always need to stay focused on selling the joke. Usually for us in music, that means giving the sketch some connective tissue, a reality to exist in, so that the jokes can stick out on top of that. We occasionally have things where the song is the joke, but more often than not, we're doing something like this sketch where the music is it's part of what creates the reality for the show to be funny in.
Things do change, especially after the dress rehearsal. We'll get a note that they need something altered or something else played or something cut shorter, cut longer. We are often editing cues right up till before the show starts. But for the most part, we're in a good spot by Saturday morning. Editing in Pro Tools over here, mostly. And this stuff is networked, so we can just grab the files that we work on over there and pop them in. This sketch in particular has a couple different pop songs that we're gonna cover. The music for these sketches is usually wall to wall, so once it starts, it rolls into another cue, So we'll run it a few times without cameras, and then we'll actually start figuring out camera shots and, trying to get through the sketch legit without stopping. I have different ways to monitor. So right now I'm just monitoring my local output, but I switch to program, and then I'm hearing exactly what Bobby is sending to program. And then if I want to add myself to that, I unmute my buses here to program. So right now I'm live to program. If I play something, I'll hear it, and everyone else will hear it. But if I mute this and I play something, I won't hear anything because I'm listening to program right now. And we have a 5.1 version and a stereo version. And whenever I'm auditioning stuff and trying it, I'm just listening locally. If I'm listening to program with myself open, yes, then I'm hearing everything.
So when you're live and you're writing this fader here, technically, it's not necessarily this board, it's this board going to his board coming back to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
We're constantly looking for little bits of things that we can make better. Sometimes we'll be getting the notes from writers or producers that they want something. A lot of times it's just us looking at it and just like, what can we do better? What can we do better? We all have to be, especially in audio, they can't really hear that well in the control room. It's on us in audio to make sure we're giving them the best show we can. So from the rehearsal the other day, we record the stuff in 5.1. So we have the dialogue channel in the center.
I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment the covenant.
So what I can do now is I can listen to just the center channel with less music in it.
Medicine with sympathy and understanding.
And I'm going to try a couple different pieces of music against this to see if something works better. And there's a few sketches like that. And so like I got the writer who popped in before, like I got a text at 2 a.m. that they wanted me to look for different pieces of music for that. So I think he was coming in to hear what I started looking for on that. And I have some things to play him if he comes back and listens. On our schedule, we're sometimes looking at the sketches that we're busy in compared to the sketches that the writers are busy in. So I know they're in this one, then they'll have a couple sketches. So we'll probably settle this down here. Analogy I often use is that from the video world, it's more like American football. They're running a play. Everyone has their route they need to run. The cameramen have a sheet of whether it's a 2-shot, a wide shot, a single. They know what each of their shots are. So when they have their red light, they need to be on a shot. When the light goes off them, they need to get there to the next shot and be there. And they're framing the thing, and then the director is calling those changes and the switches. All through audio and music, I liken it more to soccer in that we have to be very fluid. Things are changing constantly. The level of the audience changes. How loud an actor gives their dialogue, that may change throughout the day. Their reading of a line, the timing that they're having. So what we do with where the music is sitting, we're constantly adjusting it. And we all need to know what each other are doing well enough to get out of each other's way. It's not something we can communicate in real time. You know, the A1s are out there getting mics on, the boom ops are getting things going, the PA is being mixed for the audience, the 8th floor PA monitor environment has to get the right levels for the actors to work in and the producers to make their judgments. We have to be landing music in, and it all has to fit together, but there's no absolutes to it. It's very fluid and it's moving, and sometimes something will be getting loud out on the floor and we'll lower it in here, but if we lower it too much, we don't want them chasing our level, so they need to know what we're doing. So we're always trying to think of those things, like what can we do to make the performance better, make the jokes land better. That's ultimately our thing, and then get the audience laughing, and then we have a good show.